So what if you had a monster weapon that was a sword and a gun? More specifically, a cannon.
What is up, guys? It is Ace Hunter here, giving you guys another anime review, and I haven't covered an anime review in quite a little while, so it's actually surprising that I was able to decide, okay, you know what, I want to do an anime review, due to the fact that I was hit with a bunch of copyrights for the anime reviews that I did try and do. Namely, one was the Bleach anime review that I did, and after that one got pretty much shut down, I was kind of depressed for a little while and didn't feel like doing anime reviews because of the copyrights and stuff that YouTube had set up. And so hopefully I can try and get more and get this anime review done, and hopefully I won't get copyright for this. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the anime review of the day today. One quick little fun fact was that the people who made this anime also made Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works, an anime that I really enjoyed watching quite a lot. So if you like the animation behind Fate Stay Night, it's not as different from this anime you're watching now. Of course, they do have a different style of how they did it in this show, a little bit different from Fate Stay Night, but overall good quality animation nonetheless. So the anime of the day today is God Eater. Now, God Eater was adapted from a video game series, God Eater, and basically played like Monster Hunter. Although I never actually played the video game, I actually played a game called Project Cross Zone, which featured characters from the game into this video game called Project Cross Zone. It actually has the same three characters that were in that game also in this anime, so it was pretty nice to kind of like see those characters from the video game get put into the anime. And it's kind of also weird at the same time to see the difference in how they basically portray the characters in an anime versus the video game. So the difference was there was plenty of it. So the story of God Eater in the anime follows the story of a boy named Linka, an outsider who basically was pretty much raised on the outside of these walls known as Fenrir. Fenrir is pretty much the people that create the God Eaters. This is what Linka wanted to achieve as to become a God Eater. So he had to travel very far in order to become said God Eater. Had to get past all the monsters known as Aragami, and eventually find the walls of Fenrir and get accepted to become a God Eater. Their test to become God Eaters was actually just mostly a gene test to test and see if like their body was compatible with the God Eater cells and stuff. I don't know the exact verbiage for what they call these special cells and stuff like that, but for right now I'm just going to call it God Eater cells. Or origami cells. So basically these guys have to basically be compatible or sync in very well with the God Eater, or else they were not allowed to actually live within the walls of Fenrir. Now, and when you think of Fenrir and the walls and stuff, kind of think of like Attack on Titan and how they have like walls surrounding them and stuff like that. Obviously these walls are not as good as Attack on Titans, because obviously they seem to get broken into quite often, you could say, because I believe in like episode 2 it was already like shown that, oh hey, guess what, the walls can be broken. Nobody exactly like sweated too much about, oh crap, they broke the walls. they were more worried about, oh crap, there's monsters coming in, let's go ahead and take care of them, and then we can fix the walls later, kind of thing. It was kind of weird to see that, and I was like, they're not too much worried about the wall, they're more worried about the monsters. That's a different take on a show that's basically about the survival of the human race. So definitely something different already. So with that being said, you have Lenka going from trying to be like this trainee of sorts to basically becoming a god eater, and he doesn't know how to quite use a god eater and stuff, and like he basically he's a noob. So you're basically following the adventures of this noob becoming a hero, of sorts. So, what's also pretty neat about the show is not only does it follow track with this kid's story, you also get kind of a glimpse of other people's stories, along with the story of the past of how these monsters were created and such like that. So you're seeing basically, okay, how are these monsters are being created, while you're also pretty much following the story of how this boy is going to become a god eater and such. So the way they took this anime was in the direction that it headed is pretty nice. Now, one irksome thing I could tell is Unfoldable tends to take a lot of breaks or hiatuses for some reason. I don't know if maybe that's a good thing or a bad thing, but for whatever reason, the current where God Eater is stuck at episode 9, and episode 10 is set to air in March. So I don't know how many more episodes the show will go on for, but it's clear to see that they have this tendency to put out a few episodes, and then at a good point or a good climax point of the story, they try to like put a hiatus on it and wait a couple months or weeks before they put out the next couple of episodes. Don't exactly know if that's their best move for doing anime and stuff like that, but it's still pretty good. Their animation is pretty spot on, and I gotta give them props for that at least.
So let's recap. The story of God Eater is very well done, but at the same time, it gives off the feeling of already done or already played. So you don't want that feeling when you're doing an anime, and it's for me, since it was a video game, I gave it a chance because that was it. They were basically drawing from the video game, and so they had limited material to work with as far as like dealing with a Monster Hunter type of video game. So for them to like pretty much draw in what they did is pretty well fantastic on how they did that. So honestly, I think they did a good job with that. Unfoldable, good job. Next thing to touch on is the art style. Art style, very well done. Sets in that nice little dark tone with like how they did it and how they colored it. It sets in definitely like a dark tone. What also I noticed is it does a lot of CG. Obviously not a bad call at all for anime in general. CG looks amazing. I think it's fantastic looking. So the cell shading looks great. I'm sorry, I said cell shading. I'm thinking of Naruto right now. Storm. So either way, the CG on the anime looks great. So, and then we move on to the music. The music of choice, honestly, has some depressing mix in it. Some of them have very good like rock music to it. Honestly, the depressing music doesn't really bother me. Most depressing music kind of bothers me, and I tend not to really listen to it and like kind of shut it off every now and again. But this God Eater's music, it's kind of different. It gives off that like feel of not being depressing. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing if you're trying to set a tone somewhere. But for it to not really affect me the way it did, was pretty good. I could watch the show and really just like enjoy the show, and the music just helped set in the enjoyment factor, but it didn't make me depressed seeing the story pan out. So good job on that again, Unfoldable. So basically, my verdict for the anime would have to be a 4.3 out of 5. And I know what you're probably thinking, like, Ace, what is your 5 out of 5? And honestly, I haven't found it yet. I haven't found it yet. It's definitely not Naruto. And there's been very few shows that I've watched now that I haven't really said get to my 5 out of 5. But uh, I just haven't found it yet. Eventually, I'll find a 5 out of 5. But that's for an anime for a different day. But now it's God Eater, and it got 4.3 out of 5. It's not a bad watch at all. If I highly recommend to watch it if you haven't done so already. Like I said though, it is on to like episode 9. So if you feel like watching an anime till its completion, it won't be completed until probably in May. I want to say, this is just a guesstimation right now, is a May end date because it is a short anime. It's probably going to be a short anime. If they only drew it out to 9 episodes right now for season 1, imagine what it's going to be like for season 2, and it's probably going to be maybe 18 episodes, 20 episodes, 25 max maybe, but that's a big hope. So who knows how many episodes? They won't start again until March. Hopefully by then I won't have forgotten about it, but I have it on my queue for Crunchyroll. That is a site that you can watch it on. Of course, there are many other sites that you can watch anime from. Crunchyroll does support animators, so if you guys feel like it, watch it on Crunchyroll. If not, that's quite alright. So, in any case, I hope you enjoyed my video, and let us just take a moment to enjoy the underboob that is Alyssa.